everyone and welcome. We are here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, ready to go racing. It's race day 2, only 3 more races to go in the DTM season 2025. In regards to the weather, it's cloudy but dry, but surely it's going to be raining today. It'll be interesting if it's going to be raining during the race or not. We will find out, that's for sure. And yesterday was a very interesting race day. We had the man who was leading the race, or rather started in pole position. That was Marco Wittmann. And in fact, Marco was still in the battle for the title, in the battle in the championship, that's for sure. Then yesterday was interesting what went on behind the scenes. And I'm sure the commentators will be speaking about that in just a little bit. So Marco yesterday was not a very happy camper, but the man who had a big smile on his face was his team colleague, René Rast, because René Rast won the race yesterday and he is now the championship leader, our new championship leader, and he's 2 points ahead of Lukas Auer. So yeah, the DTM is more exciting than ever. It's super tight, as I mentioned, only 3 more races to go. So let's see what happens here. Fact is, René knows for sure it's about all those points. Every single point counts, especially at this point where it's so close. And yeah, we cannot wait to get going. And here's, yeah, the commentator will be speaking to us and we're excited. So let's go qualifying. Let's do this. See you later.
Thanks, Verena. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 here at the Red Bull Ring. Dry for now. We'll see what the weather brings for the race this afternoon. There you can see the championship standings. And having started yesterday morning 7th in the championship, because it's so crazy this year, René Rast just with 1 win and other results going his way, shot straight up into first place in the championship. He won the race. He didn't start on pole position. It was Marco Wittmann, his teammate, that grabbed that pole position by just 81 thousandths of a second yesterday. And that was his first pole position since he came to the Red Bull Ring and stuck it on pole 4 years ago in 2021. He led off the start, led for the first few laps, and then suddenly going up the hill from turn 1 all the way up to turn 3, René Rast glided past him, and it wasn't the most difficult looking overtaking manoeuvre, let's say. Team orders are not allowed in the DTM, that's a given. But at the end of the race, and bearing in mind he nearly finished 3rd, Marco Wittmann, because during the pit stop phase he lost 2nd place to Jack Aitken, and it was only because Jack went off the road on the very last lap of the race and crashed out that Marco did get 2nd place. And he got out of the car and he did not look like as Verena said, he did not look like a happy camper at all. And looking pretty subdued on the podium. And he put a post up last night on social media to say, "Not every switch is mine to turn. Sometimes my face already tells the story." And a picture of him looking not particularly smiley on the podium. So read into that what you will. As Verena said, they're both absolutely involved in the championship fight. Yes, René Rast, he got the win. He leads the championship. There's no doubt about it. It was very, very quick yesterday. Marco Wittmann is 5th in the championship now. He started the day yesterday 9th in the points. He is only 11 points adrift, which is nothing in the context of the way things keep switching and turning during the course of this season. So Rast 2 points clear of Lukas Auer, who had a difficult yet qualifying session, a difficult day in the race yesterday, but still brought it home, got some points, finished 12th. Jordan Pepper made some decent progress in the race, fought all the way, and he's now only 3 points away from the championship lead on 154, despite the absolute heartbreak of an incredibly rare mistake by Jack Aitken yesterday, which put him off the road and into the barriers with half a lap to go, less than half a lap to go in the race. Despite that, you know what, he's only 8 points off the championship lead, so all is not yet lost for the British driver. He's got to try and put that out of his mind now and stop thinking about what happened yesterday and start thinking, well, look, 3 races to go, 3 qualifying sessions to go, can still do this, only 8 points adrift. Marco Wittmann and Thomas Priding, who had a really good race yesterday, Thomas, from 16th to 6th. They're only 11 points off the championship lead. Ian Nguyen slipped down from 3rd to 7th in the standings, but he's only 12 points off. Maro Engel, 15 points off the lead, 23 points off the lead, Jules Gunon. And there's 25 points available for each of the 3 remaining races. 3 points available for pole position in each of the races. 2 points if you get qualify 2nd, 1 point if you qualify 3rd. And, surprise, surprise, balance of performance changes overnight. It's actually declared a wet session because it is a bit damp offline still and not not super dry all the way on the line. So it's still going to be a bit careful out there, and it is dark skies above. But balance of performance changes. The BMWs, who ended up with a 1-2 finish yesterday, they've had 15 kilograms of additional balance of performance weight put onto the cars compared to yesterday's race. And then the Lamborghinis, the Mercedes and the Porsches are all 10 kilograms lighter than they were yesterday. No change for Aston Martin, for Audi, for Ford, for McLaren, and interestingly, no changes for Ferrari, even though the Ferraris had a very good race yesterday. So the cars heading out onto the track, 20 minutes of qualifying to set the grid for round 14 of the championship, which comes up this afternoon. And we're in the commentary box rubbing our hands together because we cannot wait for this session to get going. It's going to be another epic day of DTM racing, I'm absolutely sure. And my name's Chris Hartley, and alongside me it's good morning to Brian Oliver.
Morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. What a roller coaster of a ride yesterday's race was on a track that is something of a roller coaster. Lots of talking points. We had a wet free practice session on Friday. Wondering whether there might have been some very useful data gathered from that, because as already mentioned, there's some dark clouds in the area. There's a bit of kind of misty drizzle in the air. We can get through this session without it raining. That will be a result in itself. You can see that it is very wet offline. At the moment, cars just doing that normal installation lap, building the heat into the brakes, especially the brakes may well have been blanked off just to generate more heat. The cars will then probably, all of them, may well come back into the pits, park up for a little bit and allow the heat to radiate from those brake pads, from the brake discs, through the rims and into the tyres. It will get very busy as the session gets towards the end, and as with yesterday, you get the feeling that the fastest times are going to come in the last couple of minutes.
And as I said, Brian, for Jack Aitken, he's just got to reset now. It's going to be hard to do, but so my son plays golf, right? So you play golf, you have sometimes a bad shot, put it in the trees, whatever, lose the ball, and you go, that's on your mind. You go, what have I done that for? I've made a mistake. And it's so easy to carry that through to the next shot, the next hole, and have a bad run. You've got to, and he's a pro, Jack Aitken, I'm sure he'll be able to do this, just completely switch it out of your mind, go, okay, that's gone, it's done now, I've made a mistake, it's cost me some points, but I'm still in the game. I'm still not far behind, forget about that, reset. I know I'm driving quickly, I know the car is good, I know we can compete again today, so just completely forget about it. It won't happen again. He won't ever do that mistake again. No. But saying that and actually doing it are two different things, aren't they?
Yeah, two very different things. I was speaking to him late last night, and he was very gloomy indeed, and was, I think, beating himself up somewhat about it. And I'm like, look, you're still well in the hunt with the championship. He's like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not going to get a chance like this again. But as you say, he's a professional. He's had a lot of experience, been through a lot of ups and downs in his career, had a lot of wisdom imparted upon him, and hopefully he's gone to bed last night, he's woken up this morning feeling fresh, draw a line under it, look ahead, don't look in the rearview mirror, can't change any of that. You can only change what's coming up ahead of you.
Yep. And
he's either going to be walking around with his head down today, or he's going to be utterly pumped. I think it's going to be all or nothing today from him. Yeah,
again, you don't need to do that. You just need to stay level, and he's a very level-headed character. But you don't need to try too hard to try and make up ground, because then it gets worse. So you just And also, the other thing is, in sport, you think, because this is a team sport, but when you're in the car, it kind of feels like an individual sport. And to use the golf analogy again, if you make a mistake, it's so easy to think, oh, what have I done that for? I'm the only person making the mistakes. But you don't see what everybody else is doing.
No.
They're all everybody's made a mistake this year at some point. And maybe not so dramatically as that, but they'll all go, well, cost myself points here, the team cost me some points here, we had a bad pit stop there. It all happens.
Dampness or water is there still on the dry line?
Yeah, it's still pretty patchy, if I'm honest. I mean, there's dry spots in the braking zones, but some of the corners still a bit wet.
Yeah, the problem with Jack's issue was he did it with all the cameras pointing at him whilst running in second place, which kind of put a spotlight on it. If he'd been running in 21st or something, it would have been less of an issue. And across the whole of yesterday, we saw so many people spinning, hitting curbs, losing it, ending up in the gravel trap unaided. But, you're in DTM, it's the top of the game. You've got the cameras pointing at you, the end of a race in second place. Yeah, and so it's like a really bright spotlight shining on him.
Yeah, and also, these drivers, it's so competitive. They're only going as quickly as they're going because they're driving on the limit. You have to drive on the limit. If you drive within yourself, yeah, you'll never spin, you'll never make a mistake, but you won't be quick either. You won't be quick enough.
No.
So you've got to be there. And in fairness, it wasn't 20 seconds in front of Marco Wittmann on the last lap of the race and, you know, just got to bring it home. Marco was really putting out quite a bit of pressure, wasn't he, in the last bit of that race. So,
yeah,
you know, it shouldn't be too hard on himself, that's for sure. Everybody makes mistakes and, you know, focus on the positives, of which there have been many this year for the team and for the Ferrari 296 and for Jack Aitken. But as I say, pros put things out of their heads, maybe not straight away, but he'll reset this morning. Hopefully he gets a good sleep and we'll see what happens. I bet this man slept well last night. Rene Rast, what a day. We've seen this a few times this season, haven't we? Was it Thomas Preining at the Norris Ring started the weekend ninth in the championship and shot up to second in the championship by the end of the weekend. Just got one good day, one good race, and it all flips around.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking across at Ben Dewar. You saw him just now. They pushed the car into the garage head first. Everybody else, they've reversed the car at the garage. I don't read too much into that, but there have been issues at Dewar Motorsport, and I'm now looking, and they've pushed the car right to the back of the garage. They're rolling it backwards and forwards. I'm just looking out the window at the moment. I was wondering whether Dewar Motorsport have got some issues with that car or whether this is just some setup. It's just quite unusual behaviour. In the Namery garage is Timo Glock. Pleased to say that that's all looking good at the moment. The car's pointing in the right direction because he had a horrible day yesterday. Unbelievably, was the fastest man of the day in terms of racing, put the fastest lap of the race in. The results certainly didn't prove that.
No, right. Let's keep an eye on the weather and let's go down to the pit lane to catch up with Verena.
And I'm here with Bernd Schneider. And Bernd, obviously in qualifying, it's always interesting. They're taking their time. And obviously, maybe you can just explain to the viewer why it always takes their time, especially because we don't know about the weather. Isn't there also a risk of rain?
There is a risk of rain, but I don't think in that session. The weather forecast is dry, but here in the Alps, you never know what's going to happen. But unfortunately, you see they came all in for the heat circle to warming up the tires over the brakes. That means everybody is quite confident that the session will be dry.
You think it's going to be dry, but you've got your little rain protection down because you never know, right?
Yeah, because we don't know what's happened after the session, so we keep them onto the race, so then we will know what's going on. But for us, or actually, obviously, I expect some rain, and I did hope I prayed for rain because in the dry conditions, I'm not sure how good we are. So I think wet conditions we are a bit stronger.
All right. Well, let's see. Thank you so much, Bernd. Back to you.
Thanks very much. So they feel confident it's not going to rain yet. Not for this session. The great Bernd Schneider there, who's involved in the running of the Landgraf team that run Tom Callender, and former championship leader Lucas Auer, now second in the points after yesterday. The hope for Mercedes is that for that BOP change to the BMWs, also had 10 kilograms taken off the BOP weight of the Mercedes. And actually in the race, they look pretty good. Lucas kind of struggled to make his way through, but Jules Gounon had a good race and he was on course for a sixth place finish until he had a problem with the car. It was leaking oil at the end of the race and he had to pull up off the circuit right after he got past the checkered flag and get the fire extinguishant on the car. He also confirmed later that he was starting to slip and slide on his own oil and he lost 3 places in the last couple of laps of the race, but actually he was on course for a good sixth place finish despite having 10 kilograms of success ballast on the car from yesterday's result. At which point we should mention, Brian, that the top 3 from yesterday's race will carry success ballast going forward into the race as well, won't they, today?
Yes. So 20 kilograms going on the Rene Rast car, 10 kilograms going on Marco Wittmann's car, and 5 kilograms onto Thierry Vermeulen's car. They're carrying it in the race, but not in qualifying. The success ballast, it does make a difference. Even the 5 kilograms on Thierry Vermeulen's car will make a difference. They carry it for just the one race, and then whoever's at the 1, 2, 3 at the end of today will get the success ballast for the next race at the Hockenheim Ring.
I reckon 10 kilograms is about 1/10 of a second per lap. It varies track to track, but roughly That's what they reckon it adds on. Just as an aside as well, mathematically there are only 81 points available after this session finishes, and 82 points adrift is Thierry Vermeulen. So unless Thierry closes the gap, he is going to be dropping out of mathematical contention for the championship. It's a very long shot anyway at the moment. It's a very strong season though, Thierry, despite some bad luck here and there, to be 10th in the championship at the moment. But in all likelihood, it will be down to 9 contenders after this qualifying session, because there's a big old gap between Jules Goun on 134 points in 9th and Thierry Vermeulen 10th on 75 points in the championship. Championship-wise, elsewhere, the rookie championship is looking very interesting. You know, Maurice Scuring and Ben Durr have been battling away, swapping positions, sharing rookie wins this year. Whichever rookie is the highest placed in qualifying scores, 10 points, 9 points if you're the second best qualifier as a rookie. And then it's the usual race points, 25 if you're the highest placed rookie. It doesn't matter where you finish overall. If you're the highest placed rookie, you get 25 points, 20 for second and so on. So 5 wins for Maurice, 4 wins for Ben this year in that context. 3 points between them because Maurice didn't have a great day yesterday. Ben, of course, lost a load of points when he was second overall at the Sunday race at the Saxon Ring and lost the rookie win when he was later disqualified. But catching them up now with 2 wins in the last 3 weekends, Gilles Magnus, who's only 41 points behind all of a sudden and 3rd in the rookie standings and qualified 3rd yesterday, if you remember. Didn't have a great first lap, but qualified 3rd. Mercedes lead Porsche in the manufacturer's standings by 23 points. BMW are 3rd. In the team championship, it's very close. Manthey have got 307 points. They're only 14 points clear of Schubert now, who caught them up with that 1-2 finish yesterday, and a maximum points all of 45 points. Your top 2 cars score points, and Winward are 3rd in that championship. Right, purple sector times are starting to come up. They're starting to dig in, find a bit of speed. Depending on how quickly that track dries up, but it did dry up really quickly in free practice 2 from a very free practice 1 rather, from a very wet start to the session on Friday. So it could be rapid by the end of this one, and we ought to be looking at lap times in the 1:28s, maybe even slightly quicker. Let's see. But they're starting to get down to those sorts of times, or close to them now. Lugiauer fastest for now with a 1:31.058, but they're going to have to go a lot quicker than that.
Every car out on track, please say, including both the Durr Motorsport McLaren, so clearly whatever issues there may have been, they're not any more. Mirko Bortolotti's under investigation for impeding Anchan Guin in turns 9 and 10, and Maurice Scuring the quickest in Sector 1 at the moment, but that is very quickly eclipsed by Lucas Howard, continue to go quicker. That's eclipsed by Ben Green. Well, there's proof the track is getting quicker. The tyres are warming up. Thomas Bryden the quickest of anybody in Sector 2. I think this is going to be the theme for about the next 6.5 minutes. Lots of purples and greens popping up on the screen.
Quite interesting with the balance performance on the Porsches. At the start of the weekend, the Porsches had 30 kilograms more BOP weight on than they had at this race last year. Talk about a Porsche. Maurice Scuring off.
That's a puncture, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's just whipped away from it, hasn't it? The rear left that's gone. And yeah, absolutely just flung him off the road. No time to react there. I was going to say they started 30 kilograms heavier than this race last year. They took 20 off them yesterday. They took another 10 off them today. So they're back to where they were last year. And not surprisingly, the red flag comes out. Just what everybody wanted in a session where you're trying to gauge what the weather is doing.
We haven't had a single normal race or session, practice, quali, everything interruptions.
Puncture, fucking hell.
Copy.
Yeah, and apologies for Maurice's swear. The swear box has got another euro in it.
It's a fat swear box.
Yeah, it's quite a large one. Left rear is completely off the rim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty rare. Now, I wonder what caused that. He
must be maybe
picked some debris up or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's not a lot of pressure comparative to some put on the tyres, is there?
He's doing what I do if I had a puncture on the road. I'm not waiting for the recovery. I'm getting it back.
Yeah. The problem is he's past the pit lane entrance, so he doesn't want to do an entire lap with that. So maybe they'll open up. There's normally a little gate along the pit straight they can get into, isn't there? He's stopped now. But that's going to probably, it's going to put him out of the session, isn't it? Because they're going to struggle to get that back out. He was 5th at the time of the stoppage, so 1:32. Here's a replay of it. He's into turn 9. then into 10, and it just lets go there, doesn't it? Just no warning whatsoever, and he makes a bit of contact, does he, with the barrier? Not quite, so good job keeping out the barrier. So hopefully no other damage other than that. He's under investigation for causing a red flag. That's a procedural thing. I don't think he's going to get told off for it. I don't think there's much you can do about it, really. So that's some dramatic shots on a really fast corner. They come out of turn 10, and that's when all the pressure is put on the tyre, but it's still not really a tyre-killing conditions here at the Red Bull Ring in these temperatures, so I think it was debris.
Yeah, I think probably right. If a driver causes a red flag or otherwise interferes with qualifying, as determined by the race director, Sven Stopper, then they lose their fastest lap of the session. That really means anything at the moment because nobody's really got going in the session yet. So if he can get back out there and get a lap in, he could still be involved. He's actually fifth quickest at the moment, but nobody's really got going yet in the session. They're all about to pull the trigger on that lap, weren't they? But Thomas Priding, for what it's worth, at the moment, quickest with a 1:29.856. Lucas Auer second with a 1:31.058, and then Ben Green third, 1:31.5. Maro Engel fourth, 1:31.7. Maurice Skuring fifth with a 1:32.6, but he'll lose that lap. Jack Aitken sixth with a 1:33.826, but the fact that Jack Aitken is 3.9 seconds off the fastest lap of the session shows that
Says it all.
Apart from Tommy Priding, who's done a half decent lap, nobody has really had started to get going in that session as yet. In terms of the pace that we might expect, the qualifying lap record set by Rennie Rast 2 years ago was a 1:27.6. Not sure we're going to get down to that because we got these damp patches on track still, but we I think should be in the 1:28. Pole position yesterday for Marco Wittmann was a quick lap, 1:27.709.
I'll tell you who enjoy late red flags. That would be HRT. The Mustang's so good at getting heat into the tyres. Last weekend at the Salzburg Ring in qualifying, there was a red flag with about 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock, and Simon Vega was in 10th at the time, and we were all like, well, nothing's going to change. No one's going to improve. They restarted the qualifying session. Nobody improved, apart from Simon Vega, who got the tyres up to temperature in one lap and put the car onto the front row. So good is the Mustang at generating heat in the tyres, as we see Maurice Schuring sauntering off back to the pits, thoroughly fed up, I should think.
Yeah, it's been a really tough weekend for Maurice, hasn't it? The team had a tough weekend as a whole at Oschersleben in the first round, but since then, almost all the time, Maurice has been scoring points. But his aim is absolutely to be challenging for podium positions. He got close a couple of times, had a 7th at Sachsenring last time out, had an excellent 5th place at Zandvoort. But that might be the end of his session completely. There's only 6 minutes left on the clock for everybody, so they go out. Leave the pit lane. Yeah, it's going to be, 4 minutes when they get to the start-finish line. You need another lap, really, to get the tyres going. You can have a couple of minutes in the session. You might just squeeze 2 laps out of it, but I'd want to be at the front of the queue leaving the pit lane, because if you're at the back of the queue leaving the pit lane, that can cost you another 30 seconds of waiting time. Might cost you an extra lap in the session.
Yes, absolutely. So the cars that can generate the heat quickest, the drivers can do it quickest. Well, the GRT Grasser Lamborghinis, we can already see their intentions. They're 1 and 2 in the queue, aren't they? And is that Lucas Auer 3rd in the queue as well, as we look at Jordan Pepper waiting for the queue to get going.
Maurice Skuring's car's just gone past the commentary box on the flatbed, so that's heading back to the pits. I was just giggling at the latest sign. They put different signs on Thomas Priding's car, just under his left side window, and it says, don't interrupt the forklift driver. last time at the Sachsenring, he said, don't interrupt the bus driver. So, yeah, Tommy had a good race yesterday, didn't he? From 16th to 6th, that would have felt like a bit of a victory for him.
Yeah, that's again, the consistency, the picking up the points. So there is Ian Chen Nguyen, 4-time, I'll read that again, 4-time race winner in DTM this year in the queue. There's the Aston Martins. Right, this is like the M25 on a Monday morning. This is. Everybody's jostling to get in there. My money's on the Mustangs making some good progress. Who else is good at heating the tyres? The Mercedes are pretty good. Oh, they're quite gentle on the tyres, though, aren't they? This is going to be interesting.
But they do take a long time to get them up to temperature, the Mercedes. That's their issue.
That's the problem.
They're good at the races, but that's difficult. There's Jack Aitken, 4th in the championship. It's not quite like the M25. It's no white vans blocking the middle lane.
Just as stationary.
So, yeah, this is going to be tricky. If you have a car which struggles to get its tyres up to temperature, They're all going to be on the track. They're all going to be complaining that there's no space on the track, and they got blocked, they got bulked, and we're probably going to get a random grid for the race.
Yes.
And maybe some random weather this afternoon. Because, you know, DTM has been too predictable this year, so let's mix it up a bit, eh?
Yeah. Right, well, I think everybody is on the move. I'm still getting, actually, Mauro Engel is still stationary. Thomas Preining, Arjumani, they're still in the garages at the moment, but the clock is ticking immediately, so this is going to be a frantic 6 minutes here. We're not going to see anything for a lap or so, but then it really is going to be chaos, I think, as this lot try and move their way up the grid. The benchmark at the moment, Thomas Preining's 129.856. We expect to see that eclipsed, but maybe in the very latter stages of this session.
The other element is the track, in theory, is going to get drier, faster, grippier. So in a sense, you want to be the last one over the start-finish line to start your lap. Maybe that's what Thomas Preining and Mauro Engel are thinking. And Arjumani. Maurice Skuring has just got back to his pit garage. His car is not there, so he's going to have to watch now as his name tumbles down the timing screen. There's René Rast, the Mission 4 sticker. You might see it somewhere on the side of the car, which he's had all season long. Mission 4 being the mission to become a 4-time DTM champion. He's already 3rd in the list of the most wins ever. Fabio Scherer having a coming together with Nicky Tim. And let's get some team radio from Merco.
Driving unnecessarily slowly.
People are driving unnecessarily slowly.
I see it was Gunnar there who was holding up everything.
There's a new rule that was brought in at the Nürburgring. If you're seen to be driving unnecessarily slowly in the final sector of a lap, you can get penalised for it, can't you? So they've got to be a little bit careful here.
Yeah, absolutely. Minimum time in the sectors, and it's under investigation. The one you've just seen. Not that I think anyone's going especially slowly there, but Fabio Scherer, Nicky Tim under investigation for that little moment. I think. Hello, everybody. I think it was just a case of I think they're just tripping over each other. So I think nothing malicious in it, but it's not what you need when there's less than 5 minutes of the qualifying session remaining.
Last 2 cars in the queue, only at turn 4 at the moment. Number 24, Mauro Engel, and number 33, René Rast. so keep an eye on them. See what the time is when they get to the start-finish line. Just in front of them is Tommy Preining,
Yeah, I thought he was going slow, but he was just finding a bit of space, wasn't he? And behind him, Mauro Engel was quite close to him, but I think he was just backing out of it. I thought for one moment we were going to see a second Porsche with a problem.
So those three, Preining, Rast and Engel, who's just dropped behind Rast, going out of turn 8. They are going to cross the line with, about 3.5 minutes left on the clock. So they'll be able to get that, actually be able to squeeze 3 laps in, I reckon, just about. So I think these 3 to keep an eye on, because they're, in theory, could be the last 3 to cross the line at the end of the session, where maybe the track is at its best. We'll see. Of course, somebody else throws it off the road. There's another red flag.
Yes.
It's all out the window.
And that's exactly the risk of going late, isn't it? Right, well, quickest in Sector 1, Fabio Scherer in the Mustang. Quickest in Sector 2, Luca Engstler. He goes up to 2nd now in the timing. He is relegated down immediately because Ben Green and Jordan Pepper have leapfrogged him. So Pepper quickest, 129.149. Ben Green to 2nd, but everybody improving. Ricardo Feller, the Audi, was red hot yesterday, and it's hot in Sector 2 now with the purple. Scherer still quickest in Sector 1.
And maybe about to go on to provisional pole. He does by 15 thousandths of a second, but you're right, Feller's on a flyer, and he might be about to eclipse that as he comes through in the Land Motorsport Audi, goes across the line, and by 96 thousandths of a second, he goes quicker. Write down how many people get on provisional pole in this session. It might be about 20, I think, the way this is going. So Feller and Scherer in the low 129s. It's still, I don't think, quick enough, this. You've got to be, I reckon, in the low 128s today, maybe mid 128s to go for pole position. 2.5 minutes left in the session, and Scherer has just set the absolute best first sector. He drove really well in the race yesterday, didn't he? And only failed to get a top 10 finish because they had a problem in the pit stop.
Yes, and he's got those tyres into the window, but he's under investigation for driving unnecessarily slowly at the pit exit. We've also got a couple of cancellations of lap times. That is for Marco Wittmann and Nicky Tim.
And Rast is the first into the 128, so 128.914 for René Rast with the absolute best final sector. Best middle sector, a 39.2, has just gone to Jules Gounon. That's the longest sector on the lap. So Jules Gounon, the next one to keep an eye on. He's coming towards the end of his lap. in the Winwood Mercedes, still very much involved in this championship fight. Yes, he's at the tail end of the top 10 in the points, but he's within 25 points within a race win of the championship lead. Arjun Maini sets the absolute best first sector on the run up to turn 3. Gounon comes through and goes on to provisional pole, 128.7 now, but Scherer is quicker, or just by 21 thousandths of a second, and the Ford back onto provisional pole with a 128.743.
Keep an eye on Thierry Vermeulen. He has been setting purples as well. He goes up to second place, 128.5. Maini still the quickest in Sector 1, Vermeulen the quickest in Sector 2, and Feller the quickest in Sector 3. So different brands in each of the sectors. Yeah,
just keeping an eye on the 3 that were the last to go out, well, the 4, which were Maini, Preining, Rast and Engel. They're just coming down to turn 9. There is Arjun Maini, who did the absolute best first sector on this lap, but that's now been eclipsed by Ricardo Feller, who's quickest of all and going even quicker on this lap. 128.458, the new benchmark time. Right, these 4 about to come through with, just over 30 seconds left on the clock they'll be when the last of them comes through. Maini goes 5th quickest. He's down to 6th place though, because Preining goes up to 3rd place. They shoot through. They're going to get another lap in with 30 odd seconds left on the clock. So they will be more or less the last ones across the line. Not quite the last ones across the line though, because Pepper is going to go through. He'll squeeze another lap in. And his teammate Engstler goes through. 19 seconds left on the clock. So 3 or 4 more coming through. Jack Aitken just about to go over the line with 10 seconds left on the clock. He might be the last one through.
And his teammate Thierry Vermeulen, quickest in Sector 2, currently second, but Ricardo Feller, man on a mission in Sector 1. Sector 2, not so much. But here comes Thierry Vermeulen. Is he going to improve? It was a 128.520. He was in second place last time, so he crosses the line, and Vermeulen goes up to a provisional pole position.
Right, Jules Gounon crossed the line in front of the commentary box with a second to go. So Jules is just squeezing another lap in as he got the tyres to make something special out of this. So I think he's going to be the last one. He will be the last one to take the checkered flag. He's currently 7th quickest. Thierry Vermeulen with a 128.301 on provisional pole position. Ricardo Feller 128.458 from 2 laps ago. He's 2nd quickest. He was a 10th slower on that most recent lap and has now taken the flag. So it's going to be 2nd at best for him. Jordan Pepper is 3rd. Thomas Preining is 4th. Fabio Scherer has gone into the pits. He's in 5th. And Lucas Auer has just done the absolute best middle sector. So Lugi, 2nd in the championship, looking to have a much better qualifying than last time out. His 2 worst qualifyings of the season have been his last 2 qualifying sessions. So if he can break up there into the top 10 or maybe way higher with this lap, that'll be a real bonus for him. So Lugi about to come through to challenge for pole position. Does he make it stick through the final sector? No, not quite, but it's good. 128.568. He goes into 3rd place. How's Jules Gounon getting on? A personal best first sector, but 3/10 down in the middle sector. Jack Aitken crosses the line. He's in 3rd place. So Lucas Auer pushed down to 4th, Thomas Preining to 5th. Here comes Jules Gounon, crosses the line now, but he can't improve. The tyres ran out on him, and he ends up in 8th place. So a 3rd career pole position, a 2nd of the season for Thierry Vermeulen. The last twice he's been on pole position, he's finished on the podium, but not on the top step. 3rd last year at the Saxon Ring after a penalty for the pit stop infringement. 3rd at the Norris Ring from pole this year. Can it be 3rd time lucky for Thierry Vermeulen? He starts the race from pole position with a 128.301. Ricardo Feller, an excellent 2nd in the Land Audi with a 128.458. Jack Aitken, that's a championship point. He's 3rd quickest.
Paul, mate. Paul, great.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. That was great.
Brilliant.
Told you, today's another day,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. I mean, it's completely different, isn't it? Having said that, Ricardo Feller up there once again proving there's life in the Audi yet. So the young protege of Max Verstappen, who's racing just up the road at the Nürburgring, not too far away, this weekend, no doubt will be looking on. And he's Thierry saying, look, this is how it's done. Going quickest in the Ferrari. So Ferrari 1-3, Ben Green in 11th. So he'll be slightly disappointed with that, I should think.
Yes, indeed. Thierry Vermeulen, Ricardo Feller, Jack Aitken then score 3, 2 and 1 points respectively. Lucas Auer, that's better. 4th place on the grid for the Mercedes. And will there be something to celebrate for the home fans? Because with Lugi, 4th on the grid, you've also got the other Austrian, Tommy Preining, who's had a win and 2 other podiums here in the last 3 years, starting 5th on the grid. Fabio Scherer with a best of the season, 6th on the grid, an excellent effort. René Rast starts 7th, Jules Gounon 8th, Ernst Nguyen 9th, and Maro Engel ever present in the top 10, is there in 10th place. Ben Green 11th, Arjun Maini 12th, Mirko Bortolotti 13th, Jordan Pepper 14th will have work to do, Tom Callender 15th, Luca Enxler 16th, Ben Durr and Marco Wittmann, who we barely saw in that session. Marco was on pole yesterday, 18th on the grid today. That's not going to cheer him up, is it? Gilles Magnus was 3rd yesterday, he's 19th today, Nicola Bart 20th, Nicky Tim 21st, Max Powell 22nd, Timo Glock 23rd, and Maurice Skuring dropped all the way to the foot of the table after that puncture put him out of the session. So, of the front runners, it's Jack Aitken that scores a point. So he's now only 7 points away from the championship lead, and things just start to look a little bit brighter for him. The other thing to mention is that because Thierry Vermeulen got 3 points in that session, he's 78 points adrift, so he's actually kept himself just mathematically in the championship with 81 points still available. So a double win there for Thierry Vermeulen. Drove very well. I was really pleased with his podium yesterday. I think he would have been pleased anyway to have been 4th because he picked up that last spot on the podium due to this man's off with a few corners to go in the race. But a smile on the face, a thumbs up from Jack Aitken. And yeah, he'll be pretty pleased about the way he started today. So good start to the weekend for at least 2 of the Ferraris. Emile Frey, who had real mixed emotions yesterday, off for Jack, but the podium for Thierry. And Jack Aitken pats his long-term teammate Thierry Vermeulen on the shoulder against the Dutch driver that gets an excellent pole position. Super slow-mos then of your top 3 drivers in qualifying. The race coming up at 1:30 local time this afternoon. Who knows what the weather's going to do, but it will be another great race, I'm sure. Thanks for joining Brian Oliver and me, Chris Hartley, in the commentary box, and back down to Verena Vries in the pit lane.
And the man who was really extremely unlucky yesterday is Jack Aitken. Today, starting in P3. Jack, what a horrific day for you yesterday. And now, hopefully, starting in P3, you've got 7 points in the leadership. You're behind. So, I mean, from here, still anything is possible. So surely today you're going to give full attack.
Yeah, I mean, like every day, like every race here. And for sure, really sorry about yesterday. And it was a shame, but it's life. These things happen. And I have a really awesome team around me. Put a great car back together for me. And to have Thierry on pole is awesome as well. So he's done a really good job. And looking forward to the race this afternoon. We'll see what the weather does. Looks a little bit up in the air.
But it's going to be a good race, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Jack. And now enjoy the highlights, and we'll see you later for a very exciting race. Bye-bye.